The cold wind of the dying sunset swept through the dusty Wild West street as little Sarah stepped forward, her tiny hands clasped tightly together, trembling with fear and hope. Her torn dress fluttered against her thin legs, the fabric worn and ripped from years of struggle, yet she forced herself to stand tall as she faced the towering rancher before her. Behind her, huddled close like a fragile wall of desperation, stood her mother and younger siblings, all dressed in clothes even more tattered than hers, their faces pale from hunger and hardship. The mother clutched the baby to her chest, trying to shield it from the wind, while the other children pressed closer to Sarah, their wide eyes silently begging for a miracle. The rancher, a man known for his strictness and hardened life, stared down at the little girl with a mixture of surprise and confusion, never expecting a child this small to stand before him with such courage. Sarah swallowed hard, her voice shaking as she finally spoke, telling him they had traveled for days after losing their home to a fire, wandering from town to town with nothing but hope to guide them. She begged him for work, for food, for any chance to help her family survive the coming winter. The rancher's jaw remained firm, but Sarah's words pierced deeper than she could ever imagine. He saw the dirt on her cheeks, the raw determination in her eyes, and the silent suffering of the family standing behind her like shadows of a broken life. He remembered a time long ago when he, too, stood on a dusty road with nothing but desperation, and someone had given him a chance. The wind grew colder as he glanced at the children, thin, tired, but fighting to stay strong, and something inside him softened. Taking a slow breath, he asked Sarah if she knew how to work, expecting hesitation, but the girl stepped forward even closer, lifting her chin bravely and promising she would do anything: clean, carry water, feed animals, or gather firewood, whatever it took to keep her family alive. Her voice cracked with emotion, though her hands stayed firmly clasped as if holding on to the last piece of hope she had. The man finally nodded, the hard lines on his face melting into something kinder, and he told her that she and her family could stay in the old cabin on his land until spring. The moment he spoke, Sarah's knees nearly gave out, her breath catching in relief as her mother began to cry softly behind her. The rancher stepped aside and gestured toward his land, offering them safety, warmth, and a future they never expected. For the first time in months, the family walked together with their heads lifted, and Sarah, still shaking but filled with new strength, led them forward into a world where hope was no longer just a dream, but a promise finally given.